Hello, my friends. Welcome to another video. Today's video is not anything I've done before because I had this idea floating around in my head ever since I was scrolling on socials and I saw people posting about unpopular opinion. Here's a song I really like. Here's a song I really hate. Specifically, talking about 21 Pilots, because of course we are. I saw all this discourse online of people saying, this song is underrated, this song is overrated, and it got me thinking, what do I feel about their songs? Because really, if we think about it, I enjoy all of them so much. I appreciate the band as a whole. I appreciate every single album, but then when I'm listening through it, there's one single song currently that I do skip past every time. And I was like, okay, well, if I had to decide on a favorite and a least favorite, and I had to rank them, what would I do? So this video, it's completely for fun. This is not serious at all. I'm going to try my best to tier rank the 21 Pilots songs from their earliest album all the way up until Clancy. This isn't to say that one song is actually better than another. It is purely my opinion. Totally fine to disagree. I also don't have any reasoning for why I will be ranking things in any particular order. It could be a vibe, it could be a memory. I just kind of want to go back through all of the songs that they have and actually take some time to think about it because I think it'd be fun. But just keep in mind, I am a huge fan of this band and everything that they've put out, and at the end of the day, anything that's on the lowest tier is realistically still probably at a B by normal standards. I don't think there's any song that they've put out in their 7 albums that I would say I don't like. If you want to play along, you can let me know your top tier and lowest tier songs. If there's anything that I say that you wholeheartedly agree with or that you aggressively disagree with, and if that's the case, let me know, but keep it lighthearted. With that being said, I did make a little tier list system, so let's go to that. So this is the little tier list that I made. It's 21 Pilots themed, if you couldn't tell. The very top tier, the S tier, is It's Our Hearts That Make the Beat, just because I feel like those are the songs that resonate the most with me. Those are the songs that I feel most in my heart, or the ones that I feel have the most heart behind them. Then the next step down is Can't Describe Just What I'm Feeling, which is a line from Smithereens, and it's Jenna's song. So I feel like it made sense here. It's still a song that we love. It's something that you care about so much you can't even describe it in words, but you would do anything for it. Then You Are Lovely, I feel like is pretty self-explanatory. They're not my most favorite of all time, but they're still great. There's Nothing Wrong With This is a line from Mulberry Street, and it's okay, the song exists. It was made. I don't necessarily have anything against it, but it's there. And then the last two are I'll Take Anything You Have, which is I don't feel like I need this song. I don't really feel any type of way about it, but they made it and I'll take it. And then the last one, again, self-explanatory, now I just sit in silence, is I would rather just turn it off. I would rather it not play and I just sit in silence. And again, this is just for fun. I'm not actually saying I feel this way about the songs. If it's up to me, they are all ranking in the top 3. So I have a list of all of the songs off of their main 7 albums so far. I didn't include extra stuff like Heathens or The Line. I didn't include the new song off of Breach. And I didn't include anything else that they've done along the way. And I don't know why, but I feel it in my bones that I need to start at where we're at now and then work our way back. So I'm gonna start us off with Paladin Straight. And to me, do I think it's annoying that it's as long as it is and that there's a silence built into the song so that every time I'm listening to it I have to skip the last 2 minutes? Yes. However, is the song itself such an awesome way to end that period of the story? Yes. So if I'm judging it based on the music alone, it's going to get a very different ranking than if I judge it based on the audio file as a whole. Because unfortunately, if I am going to judge it including that, which technically is part of the song, I'm gonna put it in B tier. It's a great song, and it has a lot of emotional impact, especially because of the music video and what it means for the story. But the listening experience is kind of meh, just because of how it ends. It's cool when you're watching it in the moment, but it's not something that I want to listen to every time I hear the song. At the risk of feeling dumb, I would say I really like this song, actually. The more I listen to it, the more I actually think about the message, about what it's trying to say, and how you need to check on your friends even if you feel like it's kind of silly, even if you feel like you don't really need to, or you don't want to come across as being too pushy or anything else. There's no harm in just checking up on somebody, making sure they're okay. I'm realizing how difficult this is going to be because I just don't want to rank anything badly, but I also think their more recent albums have just been so much better. So as we go on, we might see things start to dip a little bit. Oldie Station, again, is something I think about pretty frequently, the message that it's saying, specifically the line about red lights not mattering as much, because I've been driving around more and I've just been caught at red lights or stressing about the traffic, and it's like, well, but why? Let me just live this moment to the fullest. Even if it's not the most ideal situation, it's still the life that I'm living. And especially the little detail talking about his kids in the song, making it so personal. I love this song a lot. Then we have Snap Back, which I think the line running from a thing that I kicked in 17 is probably the most impactful, just because you're thinking back on a decade of story and maybe where you were when you were listening to those albums for the first time and now seeing it now. And hearing about the same struggles, or maybe in your own life going through similar things that you did when you were a kid. But I'm not ever really reaching for this one. This isn't really a song that I am ever craving. If it comes on, I'm gonna listen to it, but it's not something I'm ever really reaching towards, I feel like. And then Navigating, I actually really like this song. It's kind of cliche, and it doesn't really have much substance behind it, but at the same time, that's what makes it so impactful, is because it's so relatable, because the idea is so big. But then every time I listen to this song, I have to think about the music video, which was kind of underwhelming. And I also can't help but be reminded of my own failure to report the importance of the song My Blood. If you know, you know. But every time I listen to this song, I have to think about that, and for that reason, I'm also gonna put it down here, just because it haunts me. The next song up is Lavish, and I think it's gonna have to... No, I actually really like this song. The more that I think about it, I really like Lavish. I think it's a really fun way to mix up the album, to not have it get too serious in the storyline, and to also acknowledge where they're at right now, because even though some of this stuff is really depressing, they are still incredibly successful people, and I think this song is a really cool way to acknowledge that. I did include both versions of The Craving on here just because I do listen to them completely differently. One of them I don't listen to at all. I don't really listen to the single Craving at all. I enjoyed it when it came out, and I don't ever click on it or think about it really at all. But Jenna's version I actually really like. I don't really have anything to say about that. I just think they both have such different vibes, but I really do think Jenna's version captures the feeling a lot better. And I mean, fair enough, that's the one that made it onto the album, so I guess they must think similarly. Routines in the Night, I think the video really elevates the song and the listening experience and being able to visualize it. I will put that one in You Are Lovely. I do like this song. It's not a top favorite. On the other hand, Vignette is easily one of my favorites off of this album. It didn't start off that way, but it's one of those things where you keep listening to it and it just kind of digs itself into your heart. And especially with the topic that it's on, it just kind of resonated the more I listened to it. And I especially appreciate the vulnerability of Tyler for writing a song like that and being able to put it out. So I think that one's going to go in A tier. And then there are 3 songs left off of the Clancy album. We have the 3 singles, so Next Semester, Backslide, and Overcompensate. Backslide, I like, but not that much. I like the message, I like the theme. Again, that idea of revisiting something that we knew 10 years ago, coming back to the same struggles and maybe facing them a little bit differently. Overcompensate, I feel like I have to rank it higher just because of what a powerhouse intro to this album it is. I wish I had gone to the concert just so that I could hear this and I could see the stage open up, because that is such an incredible way to tell this part of the story. And watching that video when I was first getting back into the story, when I was first starting to understand the lore, there's nothing better. That was the most beautiful song and music video combination, but it's not number 1. Next Semester holds a very special place in my heart. That single, I could not stop listening to it. I was listening to it on a loop for like 2 months when it came out. I could not stop. I would listen to it every single morning when I woke up, every single day when I would walk into work. I could not stop listening to this song. It meant so much to me. I related so much to what was being said. It's a very difficult thing to be so open and honest in music that you know millions of people are going to listen to, but the community that forms from being that vulnerable is so special, and being able to listen to a song and to see yourself so perfectly in it, it is such a different experience. Next Semester holds a very special place in my heart. The next album, if we're going backwards, is Scaled and Icy, which unfortunately the top layers are gonna get pretty heavy because this is a no-skip album for me. I listened to the song on repeat. When I saw 21 Pilots in concert, this was the album that they were touring for. I listened to it on the entire plane ride over and the entire plane ride back before I had even known anything about the story. And then being able to see this performed live, and then being able to actually understand what is going on in this album. Out of all of these, this is the one that I listen to the most frequently, which is honestly really surprising to me. I did not think that would be the case, but if I'm going to pick one to listen to on any day, it's this one. So we're gonna get a lot of top tier songs in this, starting with No Chances. Again, what a powerhouse way to open a concert. That one for sure goes and can't describe what I'm feeling, because I most certainly cannot. This song feels so powerful, and it's obviously meant to be kind of evil and kind of threatening, but at the same time, listening to it to hype yourself up is a completely different feeling. And then Redecorate, Clancy's song. I care about this song a lot. Not just because it represents Clancy, it has his letter at the beginning. It also has the same vibe as Mitski, the one where she's in a plane. I don't remember the name right now, but it has the very similar vibe, and that's what I thought of from the first time I heard this song. Just that idea of, it can't be over yet, there has to be something else that I need to do, there's something I have to have just that little bit more time. And then to think about the character that we've been following and how this might connect to the story, it's really emotional. And then of course the fact that this song is transcoded. You can argue it all you want. Every listener has their own beliefs, and that is mine. I would even argue that it goes up here. I really, really like this song. It's somehow equally totally hopeless and inspiring, and I don't know how you can make a blend of those two, but they did it, and it works. Bounce Man is a fun song, but there's not a lot of substance to it. It's definitely something I listen to when I'm cleaning, when I want to feel a little bit more energized, but it's not something that I really crave. I think I'm gonna put it down here, just because I will listen to it, and I do enjoy listening to it, but I don't feel any type of way. And then similarly, Formidable, which is Jenna's song on this album, I don't really care about her songs that much. They're fine, and they're cute, and I love what they are for the real life people, but in terms of listening experience, I could do with or without them. It's not really something that I'm so caught up on. And that's not to say that they're bad songs, it's just they don't resonate with me in the same way as some of the other ones. And then Never Take It is, I mean, it's okay. I think they're trying hard to weaponize us is really cool, and a cool way to point out what they're talking about and how real it is when you actually take the time to think about what the lyrics mean. But it might also have to go here, unfortunately. And then Mulberry Street, I like this one a lot purely because we went to New York and we stood at Mulberry Street there, and it's just really fun, and it's a really cool song, and most importantly, I really like the Scaled and Icy live stream performance of it. And for that alone, I think it's gonna go here, just because it is such a good vibe to think about. I don't even need to see it. I don't think I've seen that video in years, but just thinking about it is enough to lift my spirits. I don't know why. I really love that performance. And then we have our music video songs. So Saturday, which is a good song. It's definitely, again, another kind of hype you up type of song. It is one of the ones that I will go actively seeking out when I'm trying to pick a song to listen to, but it's fine. The Outside I am going to actually rank pretty highly just because of the bridge. The part where he's stomping around, I feel so cool listening to that. I don't even have another reason. Just that part in particular, I really like it. And also the music video as a whole is just really cool, telling the story, getting to see the characters, getting to see this new environment, and then getting to see the powers. That is awesome. Shy Away, I have very, very mixed feelings about, just because it's one of the earlier songs off of the album, but I had posted a cover of it when it came out. I tried to do it within 24 or 48 hours of the song coming out, even though I wasn't even into the band at the time. I just saw that it came out and I thought it'd be a fun challenge. And it was more just to push myself and to experiment with new things that I otherwise would be too scared to do. And it was fine. I don't like what I made. I think I have since taken it down because I really am not a fan of what I made, but I'm a fan of the fact that I did it. That does count for something, but it just, I cringe a little bit when I think about this song. Choker, initially I would say I don't have any strong feelings about it, but then it's playing in my head, and just the end of the song where it kind of feels like you've fallen down and then you stand back up and you just keep pushing. That's what you see in the music video, but the song very much has that feeling where it's like you've been knocked down, you're kind of over it, and then you stand up and you just gotta keep pushing. I'm gonna change my circumstance. It feels really powerful. I'm gonna put it in You Are Lovely. And then the last song off of Scaled and Icy is Good Day, which, the song itself is really awesome, and it's something I've been thinking about a lot more recently, because when he talked about making this song, he talked about just thinking about what would the worst day be like, what is his worst fear, worst nightmare type of day, and it's like, okay, well, I lost my job, I lost my family, I lost, all of these really big things. But it's chill, it's not a problem, and that's the energy of this song, and then thinking about, again, how it relates to the story and how he's stuck in this place working for people that he wants nothing to do with and that have been controlling him for so long, and then having to come across on stage as if everything is just fine and awesome. And especially with how many people reacted poorly to this album and tried to say that it's not the same vibe that they had before, when in reality that was entirely an artistic decision and it was totally intentional. But just to start off an album by throwing us into this worst case scenario really sets the scene for what story is being told. That being said, I think it's gonna go here. Next album going down the line is Trench. And just thinking about this before I pull up any songs, I can't think of anything that really stands out as a big favorite or least favorite off of this one. It's very much a neutral album to me, where I like what it says in the story, but in terms of individual songs, they're all very good, but not something I'm ever really reaching towards, I feel like. You have to be in a very specific mood to want to play these. Starting with Legend, which to me is just, it's far too sad. I can't really listen to this song a lot of the time, but I really do like the message that it's saying. I mean, really the whole point of this album is it's focused on glorifying death and dying young, and the idea that it's cool to do that, or that it's bad to get old, when in reality being old is something that should be celebrated. It's not something that we should be ashamed of at all. It is such a privilege and a joy to be able to grow older and to experience life for as long as possible. But Legend is a bit more of a personal song, and I simply cannot listen to it because I will relate too hard, and I can't get there, I'll spiral. So that has to be saved. I mean, like a lot of these, for a very specific feeling. Leave the City is a very similar feeling of, in time, I'll leave the city, but for now, I'll stay alive. It resonates with so many people, especially if you think about what the city represents and what it means to escape from it. It's just such an emotional song where it's like, maybe you can't get away from all of your struggles. Maybe you're still going to constantly be fighting these battles, but you just gotta keep going to the next day. In time, I will escape. For now, I just have to stay alive. That means so much to people that might be fighting to just get by day to day. So I think I'm gonna have to put this one up here. It feels very special. Then Pet Cheetah, which I really like. It is such a cool song, and it is so out of what they typically make, but I love it for that reason. Again, it's such a powerhouse of a song. It makes you feel so motivated. But looking at this ranking system and just seeing what else is sitting around here, I know I don't listen to it that much. I don't listen to it anywhere near as much as some of these other songs, so it's gonna go in. There's nothing wrong with this. But just know, I think this song is so infinitely cool, and I love that they pushed themselves to make something that sounded so different. There's really nothing like this song from anything else that they've put out, and I love that. This might be a bit of a controversial one, but Bandito, I don't really feel any type of way about. Maybe it's just because I haven't listened to it in a while, but I just don't, it doesn't say all that much, and it obviously in the story is great for communicating that community aspect of things, but for the listening experience, I don't crave it. I just don't have any thoughts towards that song, unfortunately. Same thing for Cut My Lip. I truly do not think about this song. I like the first line, and then I kind of just let it go in the background, and I don't really listen to it properly. Nico and the Niners. I love this song for the story that it tells, for how directly it is talking about the characters. That's not something we see all that much. The music video is very cool. I like that we get to see the characters in that way. I think it's gonna go in You Are Lovely. I think this is just a cool song, and it's a cool contribution to what was going on at the time, especially the way that it was received as the album was rolling out. I don't believe the hype for the hype. I don't actually know how people think about this song. I think it's fine. It's, again, not something that I really think about, even, which is unfortunate because some of these songs mean so much and I think about them literally on a daily basis. So if there's a song that doesn't cross my mind, it just unfortunately has to go a little bit lower. Neon Gravestones falls into a similar category as Leave the City and Legend, but I really like the idea of the Neon Gravestones and what they're meant to represent, and at first when I was listening to the song I thought it was kind of cheesy. I thought it was too on the nose for it to be meaningful. Like, they're just so direct in calling out what's happening that it doesn't feel emotionally deep enough. It doesn't feel like you have to relate to it on a deeper level because they're just giving it to you. But the more I listen, the more I think about how that's the point. They are trying very deliberately to get this message across. The people in this city are giving up their lives for a government that does not care about them, and that, I mean, they're trying to call it out very, very directly. And that matters. And I feel very strongly about that. There was a time where I probably would have put that at the bottom, but the more I listen to it, the more I care about that song and what it's trying to say. Then we have Chlorine, which I like the music video. I think it's very cute. Do I like the song? I will say, interestingly enough, I cannot recall what it sounds like, which is not a good sign. Sipping on straight chlorine, I remember now. This beat is a chemical. I don't feel any type of way about this song. I like the music video more than I like the song, I think. But there's nothing wrong with it. Smithereens, I don't really need to explain it. It's another Jenna song. It's gonna go down here. It's fine for what it is, but it just doesn't hit the same. My Blood, I don't even want to talk about this song. This song needs to get a special category all on its own for things that I have disrespected to the max, because in my lore video, I said how I didn't even know that this song had a music video. That's how much I thought it didn't matter. And I was talking about how it just doesn't seem like it has any significance. It just seems like a completely normal music video, and then it ended up being the entire thing in Navigating. I just totally did not think that it mattered. I have seen some people talking about how they like this song a lot now because when he wrote it, he was talking about his family, but now he relates it to the audience. I don't know if he said that somewhere or where that is coming from, but the idea is very cute. I don't mean to disrespect the song further, but that's where it's gonna go. There's nothing wrong with it. 3 more songs off of Trench, the first one being Morph, which I like the idea a lot. I really like the theories that people have had about what it could mean, and maybe changing yourself into somebody else, but then always being forced into this box because you're perceived a certain way. Thinking about it right now, like in this current moment and being where I'm at in life, and I'm just thinking about how I'm so afraid of how I'm perceived because I'm so stuck in this idea that I am perceived a certain way by the people around me, and because of that I'm not able to act any differently because to do so would go against what they expect. And for some reason that's a bad thing. And that is simply not the case. I'm allowed to exist in any way, even if it's surprising to the people that are witnessing it. I'm so caught in my head with this idea that if I act differently than how I usually do, that people are going to make some big deal out of it and make it seem like I'm so out of character. And it's like, in reality, they don't know me. I'm the only person that knows me. So if I start acting a different way, people are going to perceive that. Nobody is going to call me out for not being the same person that I had been previously. They're going to just take in the new me as part of what they already understood me to be. I don't know if that really makes sense, but it's something I've been caught on a lot, and I feel like it fits in with the theme in Morph. I don't know. I kind of went on a separate path there, but I'm sure some people know what I'm talking about. And then the last 2, Levitate and Jumpsuit, which both have music videos. They're both pretty big songs for this album. Levitate, I love that song, actually. It's such a powerhouse song. It very much feels like it's in line with Pet Cheetah in terms of vibes, in terms of how good I feel after I've listened to it. It just feels cool to know a song like that. And then Jumpsuit, I don't even know how to rank it because it is just so representative of this era. The music video started everything in this world. It made everything a reality. I think I feel pretty solid on this so far. However, I am realizing I am going to run out of space for sure because there's still 4 more albums to get through. I think, give me 1 second, I'm going to figure it out. Okay, the other one still exists. I didn't get rid of everything that we had so far. I just needed more space, so we're gonna start a second one, and then we can just look at the 2 of them. And we're gonna start off strong with Blurryface, and specifically The Judge. And the weird thing about this song is I was listening to it the other day and I realized there's a whole part of it that I just forget is in the song at all. I listened to this album when they were at their peak before the hiatus and everything, and I completely forgot what some of these songs sounded like. And more recently, I've been listening to the album again just because I missed the vibes, honestly. And I just forgot the second half of this song. It sounds so completely different for some reason. I'm not against it, though. I think it's just a nice, safe place to put it here. I don't know. I don't really know what to say. It just caught me so off guard that there was a part of it that I hadn't remembered. Fairly local. It's very hard for these songs because the lyrics a lot of the time feel very surface level, a lot more than the future albums that we're getting. And I mean, clearly it worked and it was incredibly successful, but it very much feels like 2015. However, I really like the way that the verse switches up, where it's the same exact thing, just with words taken out or added, or, you know, I think that's a really cool way to manipulate the lyrics. Saying you are not evil, that type of thing. I think that is really cool, and it's a cool way to sort of redefine how you see yourself, how other people are seeing you, where you can get so caught up on how you're being perceived by other people and then sort of reclaiming your own identity. Changing from just certain that you will do something to deciding that you're able to change. It's really powerful when you actually look at the lyrics like that. Lane Boy, I like the song, I like the music video, I think the vibe is really cool, however I'm gonna have to put it here because of one line. And that's all I'm gonna say. There's one line that knocks it down to that because it just feels odd. And I feel like it's pretty joked on and it is what it is, you know? Doubt, Can we just say that this counts for the one they just put out as well? Because, oh my gosh, I cannot stop listening to that one as well. I absolutely love this song, specifically the version that they just recently put out a couple months ago. And the more I listen to it, the more it inspires me to want to create something because it is so direct in what it's trying to say. And I just feel like being able to make something like that would be so healing, where it's like, face yourself head on and say, here are the things that I'm scared of, here are the things that I'm really struggling with, and you just put it all onto paper. And it's just one thing after another, here are all of these things that I'm really struggling with, and that is the song. It's such a cool way to sort of assess how you're feeling. I don't know, I would love to create something like that. I feel like it would be so healing to be able to get it all out like that. But then when I actually sit down to do it, I always feel like, oh, it's too surface level, it's too boring, it's not deep enough. And it's like, looking at these songs, looking at some of these lyrics, they are not the most deep, intense lyrics you've ever read. Some of them, a lot of them, are very straightforward. They're very direct, very to the point, and somehow they're still awesome. So it's motivating to me to listen to these songs and to think about how you can still be successful without being the greatest writer of all time. The feeling behind it still can come across, even if you don't feel like you have the words to describe it. Polarize it's fun, it's bouncy. I think it's just gonna go in this category. Again, mildly transcoded, so it gets a couple extra points, but I think that's a fine category for it. Please use discretion when you're messing with the message man, and it's gonna go here. This song kind of talks about the same thing that I was just mentioning about how the words are very simple and it's not necessarily the greatest writing you've ever seen in your life, but the message is still coming across. I mean, they know that. They call it out in this song. It's not about making the best or the most difficult thing, but you're using that music to connect with other people or to get out a certain feeling. It doesn't have to be this grand piece of art. It can just be. Hometown, I feel like, is going to go higher purely because of the Sleepers version, the piano version. When it's just Tyler and the piano playing this song, it is very comforting to listen to. I mean, it's kind of depressing, but it's very comforting to listen to, especially as somebody who has never lived farther than an hour away from any other house that I've ever lived in, you know? I've always very much been in the same area, so it's hard to feel nostalgic about it because I have yet to leave, but listening to a song like this makes me feel like maybe it'll be okay when that time does come. Then, We Don't Believe What's on TV, which I like this song for what it does for the story, just because anytime you see a TV at all, anytime they use a TV in any type of marketing that they do, whether it be, you know, the Scaled and Icy TVs or everything with level of concern, it's like that song really set them up to be able to utilize technology in a really fun way. where yes, it is calling out how fake things can be in media, but it's also allowing them to play with that idea in their own work. So for that reason, it's gonna go up here, because I just think it's really cool. I think that's a really cool way to play with that theme. Tear in My Heart, I'm so sorry. It is unfortunately like this for every album. I just don't really care about Jenna's songs all that much, except for The Craving, which I love. All the rest of them are fine, and they're cute, and I enjoy them, but they're just never gonna be the ones that I choose if I had to choose only some songs off of the album, you know? Ride? Ooh. I don't know. Do I think that people judge this song too harshly? Yes. However, am I also gonna judge it kind of harshly? Yes. The unfortunate reality is, I heard it too much. And that's it. I heard it too much, I saw it too many places, I saw one too many people perform it at the talent show, and that was it for me. I mean, the sound and the lyrics, they've done so much better, and this song is fine, but it's just, it doesn't stand out compared to everything else that they've done. It holds a special place in my heart for sure, but it just, I can't get past how everywhere it was. Unfortunately, it's one of those things that just kind of got stuck in a time period. But then Heavy Dirty Soul, I mean, I don't think it is emotionally the same for me as some of the other songs like Redecorate, but it definitely is a top song, especially because of how it relates to the story, how everything keeps coming back around to that song. And again, there is just kind of one single line that knocks it down a peg, I fear. Oh, what a time. Then we have Stressed Out, which obviously massive song for them, huge success. I like it. It's a very simple song, it has a very simple, relatable message, but it still is, like, there's still this incorporation of the character that we're going to get to see when Blurryface is in the song. Like, he's named in this song. That's such a huge thing, and especially for something like that to become so popular. That's such a cool thing to think about now, but where would I rank it? I feel like it deserves better, but it's gonna go here. No, I can't. I'm sorry. It didn't get cursed the same way that Ride did. I actually think this song is really cool. It's simple, but it works really well for what it's trying to say, and in terms of story, it introduces us to the guy. I wouldn't feel right giving that a low ranking. It is a really cool song that sets up a really cool story. Then we have Goner, which I do think there's another Goner on this list, but I don't really know the difference in how the two sound. I know this is the one I'm more familiar with, and I think just because of the yelling at the end, I'm gonna have to put it up here, because, I mean, sometimes when it's real dark and you've had a real long week, you just need to listen to something like that, and it feels different. And then the last song that I have from the Blurryface album is Not Today, which, I mean, it's such an upbeat song on such a weird album. Not weird in a bad way, just weird, like, such a weird blend of popular and, like, niche little references to things that matter so much later. Obviously, people have been talking about this song more recently just because of how the lyrics in the contract kind of tie in with the windows and the blinds and everything, but I feel pretty neutral on this song. I think it's really interesting to see how, as we're going down in the list, it's so evenly distributed. Every album, I feel so certain about all of it. It's just so easy to place it all. Like, I know exactly where each of these albums sits for me, but I don't know how much we're gonna keep up with that for these last three, because I feel so strongly about all three of these albums. However, some of them sound bad. Again, I said it in the beginning, I'll say it again now. I love all of these songs. I think they are so well done. I think they capture such specific moments in time, such specific feelings, and it is so comforting to be able to listen to them and to know that other people feel similarly. But man, some of them they're just not great. If we're thinking about, like, actual song production, or if we actually stop and consider the lyrics, like, they're not the best songs that have ever been written. I will be the first to admit that. But it's really hard to separate that from the nostalgia. So now we are getting into Vessel. Oh boy. Starting with Ode to Sleep. I don't know if I can do this. I love all of these songs so much. We might have to come back to it. I'm gonna set it up here. I can't do it right now. Holding On to You. I'm also gonna put it to the side right now. I need one that I can kind of feel solid on a ranking of, and then I can sort of put everything else accordingly, but I I can't put them somewhere. It would feel weird to immediately put them right at the top, but I fear that's where they're gonna end up. Migraine is a very, very cool song. However, it's kind of a silly song, I will admit. Thank God it's Friday. I do not have writer's block. My writer just hates the clock. It's a fine song. And if we're being realistic, I've really enjoyed this song. I think it's really fun to listen to. But it does feel kind of silly. House of Gold, I'm sorry to any House of Gold lovers out there, but I've just seen one too many ukulele tutorial pages. I just have negative desire to listen to this song sometimes. And maybe part of that is just me being petty because I could never figure out the strumming pattern. I will be so for real right now. That is probably a large part of why it's going there. But I mean, that's one of the few songs that I will skip. So I feel like I have to put it there because there's just so few that I genuinely would rather not listen to it, you know? Almost every song that they've ever put out, I am so fine with it playing. There are a very select few that I can't do it. And unfortunately, this is one of them. That being said, I fear these have to go up here. I fear there's just no way around it. They have to go up to the top. Ode to Sleep and Holding On To You both have such a special place in my heart. They're just kind of iconic, and I don't think I could bear to put them any lower. And then the same thing for Car Radio. That music video where he's shaving his head is just, it was such a core part of those years. Like, being in high school and watching that video, I shaved my head. I did. I shaved it. I've shaved my head twice. And was this an influence? Most definitely. And I think also just, I don't know, cars are very scary, and the idea that you're manning this massive vehicle and you could do so many bad things with it, and you have to make the decision to not do anything like that. I think this is just a really cool song. I don't know. I don't really have any other way to elaborate. That was the end of the thought. It's just, that's how I feel. Semi-Automatic, I think it is fun to listen to. I do like it. However, again, one line, I think, might have to drop it down to that, unfortunately. I feel like I can't put it any higher. I don't know if I even have seen people talking about it, but I personally am gonna rank it lower because of that, because it makes me feel weird. Then the next song on here is Run and Go, which it's such a fun song for such a dark little topic. I think it's gonna have to go up here in You Are Lovely, which the two of these together, Car Radio and the Run and Go next to each other, they're such polar opposites in terms of vibes, but I don't know, somehow they fit together. Screen is another one, kind of like We Don't Believe What's on TV, where you're just constantly thinking of it and how you might be able to see it in different imagery. I know they had a music video for, maybe it was for The Hype, where they had, like, a thing in their chests that was kind of similar to a screen. They had, like, a cutout in their chest, or it kind of looked like there's a screen in my chest. I mean, this song is just sweet. This is just, like, a really sweet song. I don't really have anything to say about it. And then, I forgot that Guns for Hands is also on this album. So about that, actually. One of these I feel like has to go. However, I can't decide which one because I can't remember which one I like more. Is it fair to put all three of those songs at the top of the list? I feel like they meant so much. I just feel so strongly about all of them, even after all of this time has passed. And my opinion is most definitely being skewed by memories, but, I mean, I never said it wouldn't be. I don't think I can put any of those songs lower than where they're at. They just represent what the band was trying to be so much, I feel like. Fake You Out, I was initially gonna put in the You Are Lovely section, but I was thinking about how it sounds so fun and upbeat, but then I started to think about the lyrics, and they are kind of very, very dark. And the more I think about it, the more I feel like I have to, I can't describe what I'm feeling, but in a very, very mixed way. I mean, even just thinking about the lyrics is making me feel some type of way, so I feel like it is only fitting that it goes here. I didn't think I would feel that strongly about that song, but thinking about the words now, it makes sense. And then we have two more off of Vessel, Trees and Truce. How can I possibly rank these two songs? Trees, obviously iconic. They play it at the end of all of their shows. It's just such a powerful way to end the show, and then everybody hears that song, they walk out, and they feel a little bit closer to just other people. And then Truce, I don't want to rate this low at all. I don't want to put it low on the ranking. Especially with the video, it has to go up here too. It's just The problem with this album is that the songs are so iconic. Like, they're so representative of the time. It just doesn't feel right to put them any lower. So many of those songs got so big, but not in terms of, like, musical success necessarily, but in terms of getting the point across. And I feel like it was really this album that established the message they were trying to get across. I don't know. Maybe that's completely just uncalled for and not the truth at all, but that's how I feel about these songs. I feel like these songs establish the vibe. So that's where they go. I think this next part might genuinely be the most difficult thing I've done, just because a lot of these songs are the same things, just done up a little bit differently. So I don't know how differently I can rank them. Because for one thing, I don't really listen to Regional at Best that much, just because it's not on Spotify, I'll be real. I just don't have it on a streaming service, therefore I do not listen to it. So I don't really remember what changed between the different versions. And even if I did, I don't know if I could come up with which one I prefer. And maybe that's just me cheating my way out of this, you know? My bad, I guess. My bad. I don't think I'm familiar enough with the different versions to be able to put them in different places like that. So I think what I'm actually gonna do, and this is kind of stupid, I'm going to give them both the position. I'm just going to let them share the spotlight, which is kind of a silly way to do this, but I just can't think of any other way, because I can't possibly decide which version I prefer right now. So, Guns for Hands shares the spotlight. Holding On to You shares the spotlight. Ode to Sleep shares the spotlight. And if you don't like it, too bad. I don't know. I just feel like all of those songs are so significant. Then we have Slow Town off of Regional at Best, which I like this song, especially with how people have been talking about it recently. Also, just what it's talking about. It's a very comforting song to listen to for sure. Also, Don't Mind Me, Car Radio is going to share the spotlight as well. Slow Town, I think, is gonna have to go in the You Are Lovely spot. I think really that's where a lot of this album sits, because it's just so sweet. Like, a lot of this album is just very comforting more than anything else. And again, maybe it's just because these are the songs that I'm really the most familiar with, because these are the songs I was listening to every day in freshman year, and that does something to your brain. Because next we have Forest. And if you know anything about this song, I can't describe what I'm feeling is the only correct place to put this. What a song. What a story. Kitchen Sink, if I'm being real, is going to go in one of the top spots. I think it is such a good song. However, just looking at all of these, I don't know. It doesn't feel right to put it there. The way he talked about this song in old interviews and how a kitchen sink has to matter just because it's something that matters to him and nobody else gets to know the meaning, and that's what keeps him going, is because it's just this thing for him. Like, hearing that explanation of this song at such a young age, it really changes the way that you think about things. It really does. You just start to find your own little meanings in things. It sounds good. I gotta be honest, that I like how that song sounds a lot. It just flows correctly. Glowing Eyes, again, something that people have been talking about a lot recently because of the contract and all the imagery with eyes and the audience out there and everything. I think this song is fine. It doesn't really hold a special place in my heart. It just kind of is a song, and that's chill. Anathema, on the other hand, if that's how you choose to pronounce it, I really love this song, though I couldn't tell you why. It is a very simple song, but even just now I went and I listened to the first 15 seconds on the video. Yeah, it's going up there. I don't even care. I don't have the words to explain it. I mean, if you go through the comments of really any of their songs, but especially the older stuff, and seeing how people have connected to it over the years and how they've come back to it and said, hey, this song meant so much to me when I was 12 and now I'm 20. This band saved my life. I'm so glad that these people communicated this feeling that I had and made me feel like I wasn't alone. And it's just, this album and really all of their earlier work meant so much to so many people. And it's really cool what they're doing now. But to be able to go back and to look at where they started and to see how authentic and how raw it was, and I mean, their only goal was to just connect with the other people who felt similarly. It really created something special off of such a strong foundation. And that's why they're able to branch out now into so many different paths and to have this complex story, is because they have people that care, because they know that there are people that are going to understand. Lovely is a song that I really like. It's a very heartwarming song. I wish I could put it higher. I think the main reason I want to put it higher is because if you know the book All the Bright Places, or I don't know if it's in the movie, I refuse to watch it, but the word lovely is kind of a big deal in that story. And for that reason, the song holds a special place in my heart, even though the two are not really related. Ruby, I don't feel any type of way about, but I want to put it higher just because it is so sweet. I know a lot of people, especially with younger siblings or people that have to help other people, feel really closely to this song. But just for me personally, it's here. I honestly don't think about it. I don't have any type of feeling towards it. And then the last two songs on Regional at Best, I really truly do not know what to do with them. We have Be Concerned and we have Clear. And again, I don't really listen to this album, so it's really hard for me to put these into categories just because I don't remember what they sound like. However, I do know that there are some people that are major Clear fans. So I just listened to Clear. I haven't listened to that song probably in years. Again, it's just not a song that I come across that much, but yeah, that's a good song. Unfortunately, that's a good song. I have to be very careful with how much old 21 Pilots I listen to at a time. I have to listen to it in moderation or else things get a little weird. But that's a song I wish I could listen to more, because that is a good song. And Be Concerned, I don't really care about because I think the rap in it is just, I'm not interested in it. And then that brings us to the last album that we're going to be talking about, their self-titled album, 21 Pilots. This is going to be very difficult. I'm gonna start with The Pantaloon just because I feel like it's the easiest one to put into a category just because, I mean, it's a fine song, but I don't feel any type of way about it. It's not the same vibe as the rest of them. So I'm gonna put it down here. Addict with a Pen, I feel very strongly about this song just because I had been trying for years to make a cover and to learn the piano, and I did eventually post a cover, but I know I could have done better. But I feel strongly about this song because I know how it feels to play it on the piano. And that's such a specific thing to judge it off of, but that's what I have to go off of because I know how it feels to press those keys on the piano. And it makes you feel the song differently, it just does. And maybe it's not fair for me to rank it that high based off of the feeling of pressing the keys, but that's how it's gonna have to be. That song means so much to me because of how it feels to play it. Gosh, I keep scrolling to the next song in hopes that it'll be easier to categorize it, and it just is not getting any easier. I love all of these songs so much, but I don't want to just put them all right at the top. Implicit Demand for Proof, I'm going to put here. Fall Away, I'm trying to be really critical with these. Fall Away, I'm gonna put here because of, I'm lying, I'm so very far from fine, because that's like very much a Tumblr type of thing to say. Like, it's very much a 2012 statement, and that's the only basis I have for putting it that low. Friend Please, I honestly wish I could put it higher, but because of a bad association I have with a person that I used to know, I feel like it has to go lower. This feels like a crime, but I'm gonna put it down here. I just know that I would feel so differently about that song had it not been talked about by this one person for so long. But now that's all I can think about when I hear that song, so I just view it differently. And it's unfortunate because it's a good song. March to the Sea very much makes me think of Little Nightmares when they're all in that line and you have to pretend to be one of the people that are in the facility. I really like the way it ends though, and I think it's gonna have to go up here. Then we have Oh Misbeliever. And would you believe, this is the reason that I'm making this video, is because of this song. Because unfortunately, every single time this song comes on, this is my one single skip every time. If I could pick one song to block off of my shuffle when I'm listening to 21 Pilots songs, it would be this one. I don't ever feel a desire to listen to it. There is not a time where I am willingly listening to this song, and it's not even because I don't like it. It just is a weird Christmas vibe that I'm not always in the mood for. It is so violently different from anything else that they have. It sounds so off when I'm listening to these songs. It is so weirdly off-putting, and I just am never in the mood for it. This song is the sole reason why I'm making this video, is so that I can put it in the bottom tier, because it is a skip every single time, and that is my unpopular opinion. I hope there's at least one Misbeliever defender in the comments here. Somebody tell me why you care about this song so much, because I really want to like it, but it feels like such a weird holiday song just the way it starts. It's like such a snowy vibe, and I just am not into it. Johnny Boy, I feel like I've seen a lot of people talking about it recently about how it's gay. I think I'm gonna put it here, but it's in You Are Lovely in Our Hearts, because it gets an extra point for gayness, I guess. There are 6 songs left, and if I'm being completely honest, I could put them all easily in the very top section. I'm so serious about this. I really, really like all of these songs. Before You Start Your Day can go in with Anathema. Aircatcher, I Won't Fall in Love with Falling, sure, also goes there. Trapdoor, yeah, that's another favorite, I think. Yeah, I think if I had to pick 2 favorites off of the album, those would be the 2. Saying I began to wonder why God died, especially in this era of his songwriting, with how some of the other songs talk about religion, that is such a strong line. So I think that one, I mean, I feel so strongly about all of these songs, I really do. What if we do this? What if we do Taxi Cab here, Isle of Flightless Birds up here? How do we feel about that as the final ranking? I mean, I feel like it's a fairly even distribution with all of the songs. We have some top picks, and we have some skips. At the very least, I feel consistent in the things that I like. I feel like I know my taste in these songs fairly well. I do feel like I kind of cheated with the Regional at Best and Vessel overlap, but just looking at how the split is for all of these, I feel like that's fair. I don't know. I really like the Clancy album. I really, really like the Scaled and Icy album. And I really, really like their earlier stuff. Blurryface and Trench were kind of transition albums where they're going into this new story, and they very much fit a specific time. But I feel like the early stuff resonated with me when I was a kid, and I really hold on to how I felt about them then. And then the newer stuff just makes me think of the old stuff, because a lot of it is calling back to the themes that they had been talking about back then. So this makes a lot of sense to me. I feel good about this. How do you guys feel? Do you feel similarly to how I rated them here, or am I way off? If you like this video and you want to see anything else like it, then let me know. I can always do it with other bands or anything like that, but I kind of just wanted to do something a little bit different, a little bit more lighthearted, less effort, because I've been pretty caught up on big projects and feeling like I'm not doing enough or keeping up with the ideas enough. So I just had this idea to do something that's a little bit more fun, sitting down, talking about something that we enjoy. And maybe if that's something that's fun for you to watch, I will do it again. But if this is a one-off thing, that is totally chill too. I had the idea and I wanted to do it. If you made it this far into the video, thank you so much for watching. If you like my face and you want to see more of it, or you want to see more 21 Pilots related content, you can subscribe to this channel. Head over to some of my other videos. I have a whole playlist on 21 Pilots and me talking about the lore and theories and everything else. I also do lots of other stuff, so stick around, see what's up. And with all that being said, I will see you sometime later with another video. Bye.